It's time to do some car camping, but are there any good mattresses for the Tesla Model 3 and why? I'm Frugal Tesla Guy, and I have a couple of mattresses here that you may want to consider. A while back, I reviewed a memory foam mattress that fits perfectly in my Tesla Model 3, and although it is very comfortable, it does take up a lot of space. That being said, I was able to pack everything I needed for a weekend camping trip with my wife, and I'll post a link to that review in the description below. Now, For My Tesla sent me two of their Serta self-inflating mattresses to review and compare with the memory foam mattress. The Travel Sleeper is big enough to sleep two and is designed specifically to fit perfectly in the Tesla Model Y, but also has a near-perfect fit for the Model 3 as well. And according to For My Tesla, can also be used in a Model S and X. The Solo Sleeper is smaller, but still big enough for one adult to sleep comfortably. Now, they are both self-inflating 5-inch thick open cell foam mattresses and comes with a rechargeable pump. Now, since the mattress is self-inflating, the pump is mainly used to get out all of the air to help you fold it up, but can also be used to inflate the mattress more quickly and fill to your desired comfort. The mattress also comes with a convenient stuff sack that also has a pocket for the pump and charging cable. Now, enough about the specs. How do these things sleep? Well, the best way to find out is going on a camping trip with my family. Now, unlike the previous review, I will be taking my wife and my 14-year-old son. So we decided to also take our teardrop trailer, so we had room for all of us to sleep. We drove to one of our favorite spots here in Northern California called Elk Creek RV Resort and Campground near Patrick's Point State Park and the Redwoods. We also made sure to get a spot with a 50-amp plug to charge the car in while also being able to use camp mode. After roasting hot dogs over the fire and of course marshmallows, it was time to get the mattress inflated. Now, rather than wait for it to inflate on its own, I used the pump to speed up the process and let out air to our desired comfort. Now, you can buy sheets from For My Tesla that are designed for this mattress specifically, but I found using the queen size sheets I brought worked just fine. All right, so it is the morning in my Tesla. Ooh, the elk are out this morning. All right, so I stopped that first take because I wanted to show you the elk. This place is called Elk Country RV and Resort, and they have this big wide open space where the elk can kind of roam around, and of course you've got your campsites within it, and it's really neat. Of course, you're supposed to stay away from them. It's not a good idea to walk up to them and approach them. They can be dangerous, but just kind of thought I would share that with you. Thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, waking up this morning, you know, I got to be honest, when I was trying this at home, filled it up at home and just kind of gave it a shot, it didn't quite feel as great as the other mattress that I've reviewed before. But that's where I think going out on a real camping trip and giving a real review is a great resource, because honestly, after waking up this morning, it wasn't that bad. Now, we're sleeping in a car, so there's no perfect solution, but I only probably woke up about 3 or 4 times, but that's because I'm a side sleeper and I was just kind of shifting my weight from each side throughout the night. I did ask my wife what she thought, and of course, here are her first thoughts as she woke up.
Okay, we slept in the mattress in the car all night. That's where Mike slept. This is where I slept. It was all right. is very cozy, snug as a bug in a rug here.
So yeah, you're definitely cozy in here. But she did tell me afterwards that usually she wakes up with back pain when she's out camping or even just sleeping in the car or whatever. She said she didn't wake up with back pain this morning sleeping on this mattress. And she also noticed it was a little bit more drafty for like colder air to get in. We did have it in camp mode, but I usually don't like to put it on too warm because then it gets too hot. So that may have been partially the reason why, but that was the other comment that she made. But I think overall she was pretty happy with this mattress. Now, what do I think? Well, I'm pretty happy with it as well. And quite honestly, now that I've spent the night on it, I'd have to say that I prefer this one now. And one of the reasons being, and I'll show you better, but there are on either side, this mattress contours the inside of the car. So what's really neat is that it's kind of thin and it fits where the trunk space is, and then it kind of pans out and fits the contour as you get up where your upper body is. So there's less space between the door and the mattress, and it gives your upper body more space to sleep. So there actually is more space with this mattress than with the other one that I reviewed. So that made it a lot easier for us to sleep in here together. And I think that was another reason why it was more comfortable, because I was able to kind of push my back up closer to the door and even push myself even closer to the door when I'm facing it as well. So that was really kind of an added perk. So overall, I give this mattress a thumbs up. And what's really neat is you can adjust the comfort of it, because it does fill up with air, but there is some foam in there to give you some added comfort to make it feel more like a bed. So you can take more air out of the mattress, you can put more air in depending on your comfort level. So it's really, what I suggest is you fill it up all of the way as firm as it can get, and then you can just let air out as it gets more comfortable for you. So again, those are all my first overall impressions. Like I say, comparing between the two, just the regular mattress that fills the whole trunk, as opposed to this one that takes up less space when traveling, I'd say that I'm leaning more towards this mattress that I slept on last night. So what's going to happen now is my wife and I are going to sleep in the trailer tonight, and my son is going to sleep on the single-sized bed, and we'll kind of see what he thinks with sleeping on that mattress. So that's it for now. Let's keep going with the video and see where this journey and adventure takes us.
After hanging out with the elk during breakfast, it was time to roll up the mattress. Okay, so as you can see from the time-lapse video that I did there, I've just kind of sped up the video. The first video in the car was 12 minutes. The second video outside on the little concrete area here, right over here, is where I did all that. That was another 7 minutes. And I'm out of breath. This is not an easy task, getting all the air out and rolling this up. And, you know, from my experience rolling this up, it's never going to be as good as when it was shipped to me.
and it's just really difficult. And I'm gonna see if I will be able to get it into its original bag here. That may be difficult. So I'm gonna give that a shot and see how it goes. So as you can see right here, I was able to get in the bag. Looking at the video here, it's a little over a minute for me to get that done. It was still a little tight, but I was able to get it in there with some success. So if I had to give this mattress, you know, based on the sleeping review, is great, right? But if I had to give this one thing a strike, it would be getting the air out and packing it up. It's not an easy task. I kind of equate it to, I'm a backpacker. I kind of equate it to when you have your sleeping pad and you have to get the air out and roll it up, and you have these tight sacks, you got to get them in, and that can sometimes be difficult. I would equate that to this. It's not the easiest thing. You got to allow yourself some time, and there's probably just going to be one of those situations where over time you'll figure out better ways to roll this thing up. But this would be probably the one strike that I would give it, is again packing it up and getting it in here. So but again, outside of that, I'm still pretty happy with this, and I don't know if it's necessarily a deal breaker, because like I said, I think over time you'll get used to it and you'll be able to figure out better ways to get the air out of this thing and roll it up.
And once I got home from the trip, one of the things that I realized that I didn't utilize is this dual flap right here. And quite honestly, it's all right here on the mattress itself. It shows you the directions of how these flaps work. So it just kind of goes to show that you really need to pay attention sometimes to your product. So I'll admit that that was an oversight on my part. But that being said, these dual flaps really do serve an important purpose. Number one, the way I have it now is this yellow thing right here, this little yellow valve. It only allows the air to go out, but doesn't allow the air to go in. So if I were to take this other flap and release it, that would allow air to go in and out. So it's a great way to get the air in, and it's a great way to use this pump to get the air out. But then once you get as much air out as you can, which I just did earlier, you put this flap back in like this, and it doesn't allow any more air to go in. Now, despite the fact that you've gotten out as much air as you can, there's still going to be some excess air in there. And especially when you start rolling it up, that air needs to be released. And that's what these valves allow that to happen. So what I'm going to do is I've released all of these valves to expose the yellow valves here. And when I roll it up, in theory, it should be easier now that the air is able to kind of push out of here. Now, another thing that I've noticed is that even when I do this, it's still very difficult to roll it up in the back of the car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on my floor, and I'm going to show you having me rolling it up and kind of using the leverage of my body, my knees, kneeling on it to really try to get this thing as tight as I can. And we'll see if it's any easier than when it was when I was out camping without these valves open. So I will definitely say that it was easier to get it rolled up. That being said, with those valves being open, it did help significantly, and it did let a lot of that air out. But what I found that I had to do is once it was rolled up the first time, I then took the pump and took more air out from two different ends of the mattress. And I noticed it really did deflate the mattress even more. So then what I did is I plugged the caps again, unrolled it, and then rolled it back up, and I noticed I was able to get it much tighter. So it is a process, and that's I finding what is the easiest process for me. What I'm discovering so far is that rolling this up is still not an easy task, even with these valves, but it is very important and much easier if you have those valves open to allow that air to go out, but not come in. So in the end, I think I've done a really good job getting this nice and compact. And let's go ahead and see how it does getting into the sack here, because last time it was a little difficult to get in here. Yeah, this time a lot easier. So if you just allow yourself some time to really kind of get the flow of things and really do it to the best that you can, but that's what I found to be the easiest way to do this. Now another thing is that they've made this sack big enough that you don't have to fold the mattress. So I'm going to go ahead and see how that goes, and we'll also take a look and see how an unfolded mattress does as far as space is concerned. So I'll admit that that was easier. It allows you a little bit more wiggle room as far as having to really worry about getting it rolled up as tight as you'd probably like to. But obviously it does take up more space lengthwise, but then of course it also makes it a little bit thinner. So I think overall it just depends on what you need as far as storage is concerned when you're packing up your Tesla. Are you going to need more space with as far as the kind of the width of this thing, or how long this kind of comes out? So again, it would really depend on your personal preferences, but it also may just depend on which is easier for you to roll it up. But let's see how it fits in the sack without folding it before rolling it up. And yeah, I mean, it fits just fine. There's still actually plenty of space even at the top here. So there really is that option that if you don't want to, fold it in half before you roll it up, that might make it easier to roll this thing up and may make your life a lot easier, because when you fold it, it definitely is a bit more of a task. So let's go out to the car and see what kind of space this takes up in the car, at least in the Tesla Model 3. Now we're out at my Tesla Model 3, and we're going to see how this thing fits in the trunk. Now it looks like it actually may fit the width of the car. Now it's not going to fit between the wheel wells at first, so what you're going to have to kind of do is kind of force it and kind of push it. It bends, it's pretty flexible. So if you want, you can store it that way and put it in the back like that. So it's not that bad actually. And if we take a look at the length of the car, it does fit. Honestly, it probably fits better with the width of the car than the length, but it does just barely fit. So you may have to, let's see, in fact, I'll take this back and we'll see if it gets in the way of closing the trunk. Yeah. So you do have to give it a little bit of a push and then you'll be okay. But I mean, that's not a big deal. If that's a big deal for you, then all you have to do is put it in lengthwise. So yeah, I'd say that that is definitely another option, is not folding it and rolling it up so it's longer, and then it fits nicely in the width of the car. Not a bad option.
Okay, so how was your night of sleep on the single mattress back there?
It felt like an air mattress.
It felt like an air mattress? I mean, because it's supposed to try to feel less like an air mattress and more like a mattress because it's got the foam in there.
Yeah, it's still like a little solid. It's
okay. We probably could have taken a little air out of the mattress.
Yeah.
If you had to compare, you slept in the back of this car before, right? And
yeah.
That's always been on just the regular mattress that we have to unfold. It doesn't have any air. We don't take any air out. How would you compare the two?
Well, the one that actually has a mattress is a lot more soft.
Okay.
And this one's definitely a lot more solid. You probably could air it out a bit more and have it close at least, but probably
Okay.
not the exact same.
And would you say that, how about the size of it too? Would you say that there's not enough space on either side of you, or that
I
was pretty good?
It was alright. I mean, you could probably fall off it maybe, but
If you're like a violent sleeper.
well, I have fallen off a bunk bed before.
What?
Yeah. Remember the scamp?
Oh, God. Yes, I remember that. That was some solid parenting on my side. Okay, so aside from that, but would you say that for a camping, would you want to spend another night on this, or would you maybe want to take some air out and maybe feel better about it? But I mean,
Yeah, probably take some air out of it and it'll probably feel a little better, yeah.
okay. Would you say that when you're spending the night on it, you're like, gosh, I wish I was in the trailer sleeping in a better
I
mattress?
don't really mind.
So you weren't miserable?
I wasn't miserable, no.
Okay, so it was one of those things where like it was fine.
Yeah, it was
It was
okay.
you're sleeping in a Tesla, and that's just the reality of sleeping in a Tesla. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it?
Probably like a 7.
A 7. Okay. That's not bad. Would you recommend it to other people who are just kind of traveling by themselves around and are going to be going to different campsites and are going to be kind of camping around a bit?
If you're camping around a lot, you'd probably want to get the normal mattress one, but if you're camping around every once in a while, yeah, you could definitely get this.
Okay. Now, if you're camping around a lot, like you're going on a long trip, I guess the other problem would be is storage space because of other mattresses,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
But okay, so you're saying that for short camping trips, this is going to be totally fine. But if you're going to be camping for weeks on end, you may want to consider getting the other mattress.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like solid advice. Sounds good. All right, so the single mattress, without a doubt, is a lot easier to roll up. The main thing I did is I got the air out as much as I could, rolled it up, and on the other side is another nozzle where I could get even more air out. Re-roll this thing up. Super much easier. It took me about 6 minutes to do it compared to, I think, 12 minutes the first time and then more after that for the double. So definitely if you get the single one, I would say not a deal breaker as far as how easy or difficult it is to get this thing deflated. Because yeah, I'm able to get this in this carrying bag very easily. Everything's great. Get it in there. If you prefer to put it in the front, you can put it in the front. Close it up. Boom. And there you go. So yes, the single mattress, definitely a lot easier to deflate.
I'm glad I was able to actually put these mattresses to the test and give them a full night of sleep. Because as I mentioned earlier, when I first laid down on this mattress trying it out at home, I wasn't terribly impressed. But after letting out some air and sleeping on it for the night, I was thoroughly surprised with how well it slept. And as I mentioned earlier in the car, it actually seems like it slept better than the first mattress I reviewed. I like how the Travel Sleeper for 2 contours the shape of the car, giving you more sleeping space for your upper body. You know, this really did make a big difference. So much so that if I had to make a choice between the memory foam mattress and the Travel Sleeper, it would be the Travel Sleeper. Deflating it and folding it up is not my favorite thing, but the added comfort and space that it saves is well worth it in my opinion. As far as the Solo Sleeper is concerned, I think the overall comfort is the same, but I think my son said it perfectly. If you're on your own and going on a quick camping trip, then the Solo Sleeper will be fine. But it may not be so great for those longer, more extended trips. I would say even if you're on your own, the bigger Travel Sleeper may be a better option for the longer trips. That all said, the Solo Sleeper is a lot easier to set up and roll up as well. I also want to briefly talk about how well the pump worked. I was a little concerned that it wasn't the typical 12 volt that plugs into the car, but after using it all weekend long, it still had at least 75% of the charge left. It also performs beautifully when both inflating and deflating the mattress. Bottom line, I think these mattresses are worth considering if you're in the market for a quality, comfortable mattress for your Tesla. The open cell design of the foam really does take the edge off of the air that is needed to inflate it, and really does help give you the feel of a real mattress. Is it perfect? Of course not. But in my opinion, there is no perfect solution when it comes to sleeping in your car, because in the end, it's just that, sleeping in your car. Well, that's going to do it for this review. Tell me what you think of these mattresses in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts. In the meantime, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and stay positively charged.